And hello, my name is Harry Harrington, and today I'm going to be taking you through the steps in carving and styling this elm air layer raft. The tree was collected by an air layer by Sean Stolp, who took it from high up on a hedge, about 2 meters in height, where it had been growing for many years, being threshed back by contractors driving tractors. But for this styling, I want to start addressing the large bow and the large branch that is growing forward near the base of the main trunk. This is causing quite a lot of problems with inverse taper. I also want to start putting some movement into the primary branches and setting them up for before they start to thicken up in the coming years, when at the moment I can get the most amount of movement in them. I will start today's work using a nibbler bit. So this is a T-nibbler, so it has the triangular pieces. I find that they cut a lot better. It's going to be fitted to a Bosch, a cordless Bosch, which is the equivalent of a Dremel carving tool. And the nibbler bit itself will just be screwed straight onto the main thread of the machine itself. So I start by just removing the bark and skinning the outside of the area that I'm going to be carving. I'm also using an ordinary cup wire brush in the Dremel, and that's very effective for removing bark, but not particularly changing the dynamics of the wood. I'm going to switch over to the Makita, again fitted with a nibbler, a T6, and this is a very effective way of removing a lot of wood. With the video slowed down, you can see the very high revolutions per minute of the Makita die grinder and the amount of power that this machine has. It really is very advisable to make sure you're wearing safety glasses when you're carving and keep your fingers well clear of the subject, but also make sure you're holding the machine firmly in your hands so it can't bounce around off the wood. One of the problems with carving very fresh sappy wood is that it tends to fluff up, and you will have a lot of debris still on the surface of the tree. What I do is just gently squeeze some cyanacrylic, which is the crazy or super glue, over the wood, and this hardens it and makes it far more manageable and malleable to carve. So the super glue is safe for the tree. Obviously I'll try and avoid it dripping onto the bark or the cambium layer, which is sealing itself as we speak. But it only takes 10-15 minutes to dry, even on a cold day. The basic shapes of my carving are starting to take form, and you can see I'm playing around, putting some faces in there. Maybe it's a skull, and I've decided to greatly reduce the heavy branch that's coming forward towards us. As I head into the end of the first session on this tree, it's around 4 hours work that I've carried out already. I'm putting some black into the hollows. These will dry out overnight. Ordinary black children's water-based paint, and this will allow me to see the shapes and the patterns in the wood tomorrow when I resume work. Further super glue or crazy glue is being applied to another of the trunks that unfortunately was dead when I received the tree, and this is going to really harden the wood up, which was starting to decay, and allow me to carve it hard and put a lot of detail in. To connect the deadwood on the main trunk and on the secondary trunk further down, and then at the very base, I'm starting to create some deadwood in the centre of the raft itself, just to keep the deadwood throughout the piece, and so there's some continuity. I'm now switching over to a wire brush that's been soaked in epoxy resin. This makes it very hard and is fantastic for putting grooves or graining strokes into the wood. You can also create very narrow lines. I've also switched over onto a flexi shaft that's mounted onto my Dremel, and this allows me to make tighter corners, get deeper into the piece where the body of the machine would stop me working freely. After 12 hours carving, I've decided to leave the deadwood as it is. There's a point where you can overwork the wood. So I'm now on to applying some wire, coiling the wire around the year-old shoots that emerged last growing season, in order to set a framework on the branch structure and put plenty of movement and plenty of bends into those branches. There are 3 shoots that I have allowed to stay long and haven't pruned this winter. They're going to be allowed to extend as far as possible to help thicken them up, because they will become trunks. With the lower branches now wired and roughly positioned, it's time to build a crown, and this is the thing that many people really struggle with. I'm going to build a naturalistic crown here, so I'm going to be using all the branches in the upper third of the tree and gently bringing them up and over like the spokes of a bicycle wheel. So the styling of this elm raft is now complete. After 12 hours carving and around 3 hours wiring this morning, I finished the first styling on the tree itself, and it's now going to be allowed to rest, grow through the season of 2020, and I'll be able to take the tree on another step next autumn or winter. I hope you've enjoyed watching the video of the styling of this tree, and we should have some more coming out in the coming weeks and months this year, 2020. Thank you for watching.